Welcome to How Well Are You, the talk show, to our live viewers. And if you're watching us on the replay, welcome to you as well. Now, this platform is dedicated to dismantling the stigma surrounding mental illness. I'm Cynthia Mobley Howell, and I am the founder and the CEO of How Well Are You? How Well Are You is a holistic health and wellness business committed to empowering individuals in achieving their optimal well being. Our focus is on nurturing the spirit, soul, and body through an integrated approach. Can you take a moment and share the live stream? Tag your friends, like, and please share. So, growing up as the youngest and the only girl among four siblings, I witnessed firsthand the profound impact of severe mental issues on my brothers. Unfortunately, due to the absence of early intervention, they were unable to effectively manage their mental health challenges. So, this prevented them from living ordinary, productive, and fulfilling lives, rather. So it's this experience, is that experience that drives me to ensure that the conversation around mental wellness continues. My personal mantra, I'm not keeping quiet anymore, reflects my commitment to speak out against anything that jeopardizes the well being of humanity in relation to health and wellness. David Spiegel emphasizes the importance of finding moments of tranquility amidst our busy lives. In his words, we're often consumed by constant activity, neglecting the essence of simply existing. Taking a few minutes to center ourselves, connect with our bodies, and prepare for whatever challenges lie ahead is a valuable practice. Tonight, our esteemed guest and I are going to delve into the enlightening subject of just being and breathing. Ladies and gentlemen, I tell you, we're in for a treat tonight. We are absolutely delighted to welcome an extraordinary guest who's captured our attention. Now, this remarkable young man first caught my eye on Instagram. I kind of stumbled upon his impressive interview with one of my esteemed future guests. So, what struck me instantly was his poised and composed demeanor, coupled with his deliberate and thoughtful way of speaking. And you're going to see in a moment exactly what I'm talking about. And I knew right then and there that I simply had to invite him to grace our show. Now, I'm going to go ahead and bring him in. And after I bring him in, I'm going to actually introduce our guest to you. Now, I'm thrilled to introduce Derrick Williams. Derrick is based out of Washington, D.C., the capital city, y'all. And he's not only a mental health advocate, but he's also a remarkable motivational speaker. Derrick's mission is to ignite conversations and raise awareness about mental health while spreading love in the process. His impactful work has garnered attention far and wide, and he's been featured on numerous podcasts and panels as he shares his insights and experiences with a wide audience. However, his journey goes beyond these achievements. Derrick is the creator and founder of Breathe and Embrace, and this is a platform born from his personal struggles, that he may or may not care to mention during the interview, but his personal struggles rather, with his own mental health. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mr. Derrick Williams. Hey, Derrick.
Thank you. Hi, Miss Cynthia. Thank you so much for inviting me. I have to tell you that is the best intro that I think I have ever received. So I'm gonna have to screen record this and play this back a couple of times. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you
You
so much for inviting me.
Oh, you are so
Thank
welcome. You
you.
are so welcome. And as I said, and thank you for agreeing. Thank you for your yes. And as I was saying earlier, um, I stumbled across you on Instagram, and as I listened to you um, interview another young man, I noticed your demeanor, and it was so uh, cool, calm, and collected, if you will. And I'm like, I love it. You know how he takes his time and how he, shares, and just very intentional about what
Mhm.
you say. So, first of all, Derek, tell me, how did you, where did your journey start with deciding that you wanted to become a mental health advocate?
Sure. Thank you again. Thank you. And can I go back where this is for your followers and listeners? We were talking a little bit earlier, but I have to give credit to where credit is due. I've learned how to speak and how to carry myself from my parents, and being in church and being raised in church and being put up to give Easter speeches and all those things. And so, so I'm thankful for your kind compliment. Um, my journey with Breathe and Embrace started with me. I'm more than happy to share. I think um, my work is in my testimony and me being honest and open about where I am in life and the journeys that I have taken to even get to this point. I have the grace and the strength to carry mental health because I myself have a mental health disorder. So I have major depressive disorder, and which causes me, I tell people all the time, we all experience grief, sadness, anger. Those are natural human emotions. But imagine being stuck there and not being able to really climb out of those natural emotions that we have. And so I have to be honest, I felt a shift in my emotional well-being and my mental well-being, maybe a little in or not in college, but my senior year in high school is when I started kind of feeling different, and these thoughts would come up, and feeling of being of feeling stuck started coming up. And it wasn't until maybe a couple of years ago in 2019 where it came to a head. I had to do something. And so I had a bit of a breakdown, and it was a journey that I will never forget. I was unfortunately placed in mental health facilities. Unfortunately, struggled with suicidal ideation during that time. And I remember Cynthia. I remember telling telling God. I remember, if you get me out of this one, I promise I will tell people how they can get out of it. And sure enough, I got out of it, and it was a ministry and a mission that I just had to take on. And so I created Breathe and Embrace. And as I was going through, just trying to figure out the theme and trying to figure out what concept to use for my branding and all those things, um, I was reminded in the power of just being still and breathing and taking your time. Because the truth of the matter is, in 2019, it took a long time to get out of my depressive cycle. And it took a while for me to find myself again. And so I had to learn how to just breathe and take my time and walk through the journey. But then here was the next step. I then had to learn how to embrace myself. And so I am Derrick. I'm a son. I'm a Black man. I have depression. I'm a partner. I'm a brother. I'm a worker. I'm a creative. I'm all these things, and they all make me and they all build me. So embrace those things. And everything, every bad thing is not necessarily a bad thing, right? There are things that make us. And so embracing those things. And that's where this mental health advocacy has come from. I always share as just a caveat for people, I'm no therapist. I'm no mental health practitioner. I'm no psychiatrist. All I am is a vessel to give you the tools of how I did it and how I was able to make it out. And so I'm just glad to have this platform and share with you and share with others just the importance of breathing and embracing.
Ooh, you
Yeah.
you said a mouthful right there. Before I go on, just let me acknowledge, hey Trina, if you're still here, and if I slaughter your name, don't come for me. I think it's Jamais.
Jameis. I saw it too.
Jameis.
Jameis.
Okay, okay, Jamais. Hello, and to all of you, hello. Wow, Derrick. First of all, thank you for your transparency.
Mhm.
First of all, being a Black man and coming on the worldwide stream and saying I suffer from a depressive disorder, that's major right there, because that's part of why a lot of people who suffer with mental health issues cannot rise above, because too many people are keeping silent.
Mhm.
And those people who have been following me know, again, that my personal mantra is I'm not keeping quiet anymore.
Mhm.
So, and I'm not.
Love that.
Hi, Regina. Thank you for joining us. I'm not keeping quiet anymore. I'm just not. And
I love
so,
that.
um, we just, we cannot, we cannot afford, we cannot afford to keep quiet, because too many people are suffering in silence.
Mhm.
Now, I want to go back to something that you said about being in college. I believe in having a breakdown when you were in college. Now, was that your first breakdown, or had you, and you may have said this and I missed it, or had you been dealing with some mental health challenges before getting to college, and then you got to college and the stress of college brought on this breakdown? Can you help me out on that?
Yeah, the latter part. I always say I think my depression was or started way before college, right? And I always think about myself as a kid, and not to say that I was a depressed kid, but I've always been hyper emotional. It's always taken me a process to work through different losses and different feelings, and that was always evident as a kid. And then you become an adult, and you're starting growing and maturing and you're understanding where these emotions come from. Why do you feel this way? Why do you feel a little bit low on this day versus that day? Nothing has changed but the day, right? And so you start then processing those things. College happens, and college is stressful, but I would attribute a lot of that started forming in terms of me building my identity and building who I was. And so now I'm trying to journey through a difference of who I am and how I'm showing up in the world, and that took some time. And so then I moved to Washington D.C. Right, and so now I'm really an adult. I'm paying bills. Hello. And so I'm paying bills. I'm going through these different relationship changes, and so all these things have just kind of been piling on and forming. And this is no slight. I love my parents to the, I mean, with everything that's in me. But just as background for the audience, I'm a pastor's kid. And so our foundation is prayer. And our foundation is going to church, and in fairness and in respect for my upbringing, it is a release of a spiritual release, an emotional release. But it took a point for me to recognize, and my parents also recognize, there's a little bit more to that. There are ways that we should care for ourselves outside of church, and it doesn't hurt to just get a little nudge or get some help. And so I really attribute that to me growing as an adult and just understanding myself, really, to be honest. And that process started in college for sure.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
Thank you for shedding some light on that. And you said something, and we talked about this a little bit early. You know, you were a pastor's kid, I'm a deacon's
Hmm.
kid, and we know, and especially in my era, I probably got a couple of couple of
you
3 or 4
you look
decades
good.
on me. Oh, but yeah, exactly, Deborah. Exactly, Deborah. She took the words right out of my mouth.
Mhm.
They told you to just pray it away, but couldn't offer the works part of faith. You're not alone with that experience. And that is exactly what happens, especially in a lot of African American homes,
Mhm.
you know, because when I remember being in living in Pittsburgh and driving Uber, and this little white girl got in my car and she was just rattling off about her psychiatrist and her, and this was before I started this whole mental health advocacy. And I'm thinking, really? Is she really? I
Mhm.
mean, it didn't bother me because I was cool with it, because anybody that knows me knows that, you know,
Mhm.
I stand in my truth, you
Mhm.
know. I stand in my truth. But she was like, just, yeah, and I just came, or I'm going to see my psychiatrist, and da 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 da. I'm like, okay. And meanwhile, back at the ranch, you know, us as African Americans, we want everything to be, oh, hush, hush, and we're not going to talk about this. And if we're, especially if we're in church, you know, again, you know, you can just pray it away, or you can just church it away, you can Bible study it away. And what I found out in my family and with my brothers, we could do none of that. We
Mhm.
needed, you know, to get them some professional treatment. And so, you know, it's kind of a tough situation if you have the type of parents. And at first, you know, I was kind of mad with mine after my brothers ended up how they were.
Mhm.
I was, as they say, I was 38. Like,
Mhm.
let this happen, you know. But my people perish for lack of knowledge.
Mhm.
So, but I want to really get into this whole just being and breathing, and even hearing you talk about it, as I was sharing with you earlier.
Mhm.
Can I have a transparent moment, y'all?
Uh-huh.
Um, I was sharing with Derrick earlier how, you know, how you have some people, they can go to the beach and they can get a chair and they can sit
Mhm.
by the water and they can just chill and just look at the waves and read a book and all that. Me, I'm like Like somebody need to hold me down. Like I got to get up and walk. Like I can't do this. I can't do this. So as I'm doing my research on this whole being and breathing thing, I ran across this exercise, and David Spiegel, the guy that I quoted, I ran across this breathing exercise for 5 minutes. Y'all, now y'all know 5 minutes. I mean, but let me tell you, it took everything that was within me and some more, not some more, but some more, some MO, to be able to sit there for 5 minutes
Mhm.
and do a breathing exercise. But it did end up going by pretty quickly, though, I'll have to admit. But can I tell y'all that 5 minutes of breathing made like a whole world of difference in
Mhm.
my life? It really did.
Yeah.
So come on, delve into it. Tell me about this
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
being and breathing.
I was just thinking as you were talking about I agree that it's hard for me to sometimes sit still. I on the side of me being a mental health advocate, I have a standard day-to-day job. I'm very involved in my church here in Washington, DC. I'm I'm in love with the people who surround me. So I'm always out. I'm always, and so sometimes is I agree with you and I resonate that sometimes it is hard to sit still and sometimes just breathe and just be and embrace tranquility and embrace ourselves. But it's interesting because we are, how can I say this? We are external beings that are meant to be inward beings. And so
Mm,
we are meant to take care of our peace. We're meant to take care of our love. We're meant to experience joy and faith and whatever your faith is and those things. And don't get me wrong, man is man was not born to be alone. So there are times that requires um fuel into ourselves. But sometimes we are now in a society where everything is so outward. So what can I get from over here? What can I get from over here?
mm,
How does money or a job or friends or whatever the case may be, how does that impact me? How does that feel me? And sometimes it's scarier to look inside, right?
mm,
And feel inside. And
mm.
so oftentimes, so interesting. Oftentimes when you sit down and you do these breathing size exercises, you wonder why are these emotions coming up? Why am I feeling like I want to, if you're like me, every time I'm on a beach, I want to like cry for some reason. Like, what is it that is about this inward experience that makes me want to um, feel these emotions? Because sometimes we don't just sit and we sometimes do not stay still. And sometimes life and our mental health journeys requires us to breathe
Hmm.
and to stay still and to sit down and figure out, what does my spirit need? Maybe my spirit needs a little bit more attention in peace. Maybe my spirit requires me to to extend or to fuel my faith a little bit more. Maybe I'm lacking joy. And so what me just listening to myself, what can I do to experience joy? Do I need to change? What is my spirit telling me? Do I need to change my surroundings? Do I need to change my friends? Right. And all those um, mantras that we live by and all those factors and impacts that happen, it comes from us just being and just being okay and listening to ourselves. I say it on Breathe and Embrace all the time. that you should sometimes listen to yourselves because you are your loudest voice.
Mm.
It can come out from different areas. Your job, your manager can say something, your friends can say something, but when you speak to yourself,
Mm.
that's the more impactful voice that you will hear. And so what does it take for us to just be and just breathe, right? And so I've been practicing this this ritual, if you will, for about 2 years now, where I I will literally, wherever I am, turn off my phone, turn off the TV, and
Mm.
just sit
Mm.
and listen to my spirit and see what I need. And as you sit and you listen and you see what your spirit needs, you will then find, right? You will then find what your spirit needs is already in you. You have it. And sometimes you need to tap it. Sometimes you need to talk to it. And what I found when in 2019, going back to my story, in 2019, I was trying to find ways to get out of this depressive funk, to get out of this cycle. And little did I know that what I needed was it was right there. It was Derrick Williams. That's who
Mm.
I needed. So I needed to tell myself by being, I needed to tell myself, get up and go take your medicine. I needed to tell myself, call your psychiatrist. I needed to tell myself, call your friends. You need a little bit of help. I needed to also tell myself, Derrick, it's going to be okay. Life is okay. Just be. Walk through the day. Every step is counted. Tomorrow might not be the best day,
Mm.
but tomorrow will be a day.
Mm.
So if it is a day, that means you're alive, and that means you have another chance. So let's
Mm.
get it. I kind of talk to myself like that, Cynthia. Like,
Yeah.
let's get it. Like
Yeah.
what do I need to do? And so it's not a it's not a sign. I don't even know if it's a scientific method or not. All I know is sometimes it's important to just be Derrick, be Cynthia.
Mhm.
Whatever day bring, wherever today brings, it
Mhm.
brings it and it
Mhm.
presents itself. And we embrace the tools that we have in ourselves to also actualize who we already are. I hope that makes sense. I know I hope it makes sense, but taken so I have taken such a importance, and it has become a value system of mine.
Mm.
Yes, be Derrick, whatever comes. Tomorrow, Derrick might be depressed, Derrick, but next Friday, Derrick might be happy, Derrick. And I'm
Mhm.
going to be every part of Derrick that I offer, that God has given me to
Mhm.
extend to others and to extend to myself. Just breathe. I literally, Cynthia, on lives, whenever I start conversations, I literally do. You'd be surprised just what inhaling and exhaling will do. You inhale all issues, all problems, all thoughts, all feelings. You exhale the solution,
Mm.
which is you. It's the life that you have. It's the life that you're living. The solution is always you. And if you can do this, who cares what tomorrow brings? Who cares what the next hour will bring? Just breathe. Everything will be okay. And I have to remind, when you have depression, you have to remind yourself of that. Every day, every step is going to be okay. You might got knocked back 2 steps, but let's get up and walk 5 more. Every day is something. I just talked to you um, last week about just being honest, everybody, just being late with giving Cynthia my bio because life has just been happening. And I've had to just be okay. Just, it's okay. Life is okay. Everything will be okay. Inhale all issues, all problems. Exhale the solution. The
Mhm.
solution is you. That was good to me. I'm sorry. I needed to hear that for myself. Life has been hard. Life has been challenging. But just be, you'll be okay. I promise you will. Mhm.
As we say in church, you helping somebody. You
I remember myself. Please believe me. I
baby.
remember myself.
Wow, oh my God, you are dropping so many nuggets. When you said, I wrote this down, when you said it's scarier to look inside. And that's why many of us can't just be and breathe because it forces us,
Mhm,
as you said in so many words, to be still. And it forces us to reckon with ourselves
mhm,
and come to grips with what's going on inside of us. Somebody said, let me see if I can put that comment back up there. Somebody said, our inward self, spirit, impacts our
mhm.
out
So
self,
true.
physical
So
self.
true.
And it does. And I remember the day that I had to sit on my hands to breathe, do the breathing exercise for 5 minutes. I wasn't particularly going through anything, but there were some things weighing on me. And I tell you, that 5 minutes of me just being and breathing, I felt like a whole nother person.
Mhm,
And then my good friend Gina said about the breathing and just being, she said that takes practice, learning to
mhm,
put your own voice above all others. And that is so true because there's always this outside chatter,
mhm,
this outside noise, and we're, this one is saying that one thing, this one is saying another thing, this is saying another thing, and then we're just all bogged down on what everybody's saying, and
mhm.
sometimes that's why we be bugging out.
Right.
But we are forced because Derrick, if I'm hearing your voice and her voice and
Mhm,
everything just gets jumbled, and you're like,
mhm. Right, right.
I can't, yeah, but if you sit with yourself, by yourself,
Mhm,
and hear what yourself is saying, because like you said, my voice is my loudest voice.
mhm,
And oftentimes, yeah, I understand that there's wisdom in the multitude of counselors, but oftentimes I need to hear what Cynthia is saying about Cynthia and to
mhm,
Cynthia, because
mhm.
only Cynthia knows Cynthia.
Right.
So if I'm hearing all of these other voices and never listening to myself and letting what I'm saying about myself reverberate in my head, I just get lost in the shuffle. So you make so much sense. And when you talked about and this is something that people often mention, but a lot of people just cannot do, but I'm one of those that can. I will turn off my phone in a
Mhm,
minute, or either put it on do not disturb or turn it completely off, and it doesn't even bother me. I remember this has been some years ago, but it just
uh-huh,
reminded me of, I went to a meeting at church. It was like midweek, right? I think I had turned my phone off that Saturday. And I went to a meeting at church and we were doing something, and somebody said something about the phone, and I pulled my phone. I was like, "Oh, my phone is off." I said, "My phone been off since when Saturday." They were like, "What?" You I said, "It really has." I said, "I just thought about it when you all said whatever, because we had to do some type of exercise
uh-huh,
and
uh-huh.
using the phone." And they were like, "Girl, how you doing that?" I'm like, "Easy, easy." Because when I get tired of you people,
Right.
I'll just say, "When I get tired of y'all, I know what to do. I know
Right.
how to disconnect."
Disconnect. Yeah.
And that's a lot of that's a, and which leads me to this that I want to mention before we go to a quick break, and then we're going to come back. You said take care We need to take care of our peace. We need to take care of our love. See, so often and for so long,
Mhm.
we want to automatically say when we have heard statements like that, the judgmental folks will say, "Oh, that's being selfish." Yep, you're right.
Mhm.
You ain't got no argument. You're right.
You're all right.
In this case, I
Absolutely.
am.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because I'm going to take care of my peace and
Mhm.
I'm going to take care of my love. I'm going to take care of my joy. I'm going to take care of all of those gifts
Yeah.
that God has given to me. Why would I take the gifts that
Mhm.
He's given me and abuse and misuse them? These are my gifts. Unless you really don't like somebody, if somebody gives you a gift, you're like, oh, thank you. And you
Right.
take care of it, you cherish it. Unless you can't stand them, you'll stomp it and throw it in the garbage or whatever. But we ain't talking about that. Okay. So these gifts that we have, these gifts of love, but the
Yeah.
one especially is peace.
It's peace.
Listen,
Mhm.
if you are threatening my peace, you got to go.
Same. 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 Peace is I have I'm growing and I'm learning and I'm maturing. I didn't realize how important peace was until I maybe until maybe like 2 years ago.
Mm,
Um really it's just you know I, it's just important to have something that brings you rest and tranquility. And
mm,
it's important to be in a space that's conducive for you to grow and for you to learn. And sometimes, unfortunately, people and things and places disturb that. And
mhm.
so it's important for me too. It's important for me too to maintain peace and maintain my surroundings
Deborah
where
said, period.
period with a T. And
Right, right.
maintain my peace and maintain my surroundings where it is safe and it's secure. And I have been, I went through a period I was weeding out. I'm talking about like,
Mhm.
unfortunately, this is the end of our journey as a friend. Unfortunately, this relationship won't work. Unfortunately, I need another job. I mean, those it's so important to maintain the peace. And I love what you just said. It's a gift, right? Like it's a gift for all of us, and you have a responsibility to be a steward of that gift and to protect it and to maintain it. And so I'm with you. Like I am so keen and so adamant about protecting my circle and
Mhm.
allowing when I want to allow, when somebody can enter that circle, when a job can enter that circle. I'm quick with
Mm.
taking I want to put this out there. I am quick with taking PTO. I don't want to work today. I don't want to work today. This is disturbing my peace. So I'm on PTO today. I'm not working. Like I'm telling you, like it's important. It's important to maintain. I love that, Cynthia. It's important to maintain the gifts that you have, which is
Yeah,
peace, love, joy, happiness, all
yeah,
those things, all those what we call in church fruits of the spirit, right?
yes, yeah,
Those those things that ground us and make us human
yeah,
and make us who we are. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I like that.
yeah. Back to that PTO thing, you reminded me of years ago when I was still in the workforce. I'm happily retired now, doing this
Good for you.
entrepreneur thing. But I remember one day I decided, like, I don't want to go to work today. I don't want
Yeah.
to be bothered. I ain't got. I want to be bothered today, and so I called off, but it wasn't. It wasn't a PTO.
Mhm,
I mean, it was a call off. I called off because it was at the last minute. Trina
mhm.
said, "Count the cost," and cut.
cut
Peace is every
everything. That's how.
everything. Okay, y'all, thank
That's
you.
how they say
Thank you for
everything.
the long eyes. Yes, ma'am, Miss Trina. That day, it wasn't a planned day off. I just decided, like, you know what, I don't want to deal with these people today.
Mhm.
It was about my peace, and I called and they said, why are you calling off? I said, I just don't feel like coming to work today. And then I found out later on down the line, someone who had been in human resources. This was years down the line. She's like, Do you realize you don't have to say why you're not coming? You just
Mm.
say, I'm not coming. I said, no, I didn't. So I tried that and it worked.
She said, "I tried that."
Trina
Oh
said,
boy,
yes, Derrick, you said it right. Yeah,
I
I
got
sure.
you. I got you, Trina.
So, peace is everything. So
Mhm.
time just goes by so fast. What we're going to do right now, my goodness, we're going to take a short break and we're going to come back and we just gonna see what it's gonna be like because I'm the type of person, I'm non-scripted. I'm a little, as you can see, I'm a little edgy. uh I'm just look, I am who I am, and you know
That's
what,
okay.
yeah, you either gonna take me or leave me, one or the other. And so we're going to take a short break right now, you all. We are with Mr. Derrick Williams, and we're talking about just being and breathing. And make sure you follow Derrick on Instagram at Breathe and Embrace. And I'm telling you, he got the ticket on this whole uh breathe and embrace thing. And I am thoroughly enjoying this as time is just flying. So we're going to take a short break. And when we come back, we're going to hear more from Derrick Williams on just being and breathing. We will be back in a moment. Hey, hey, we are back with Derrick Williams on just being and breathing. Derrick, this is just so good. I could just go on and on and on and
This is
on.
good.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to hush right now, and I just want you to just roll. Just whatever you want to say, whatever I mean, you already doing that. But as we near the bottom of the hour, the top of the hour, whatever you want to call it, I'm just gonna let you have the floor, and I just want you to roll with it and just talk to us about this whole just being and breathing thing. Talk to us some more. You already been talking, and I don't know
Mhm.
about anybody else out there. Y'all, I hope y'all are liking and I hope y'all are sharing this because this is good stuff. This is stuff that we as a African American culture need to do more of. We need to do more of because I'm gonna tell. Can I just be honest? The preacher will pop off in a minute because preaching is what I do, but Cynthia is who I am. And depending on the day of the week, however you come for me, especially if
Mhm.
I don't call you, I can't make no promises. I be trying because I'm trying to, do like the Lord would have me to do. I know some of y'all out there cringing. Yeah, you cringing, but you be doing the same stuff. So I'm just saying, I need to know more about this whole just being and breathing thing. So Derrick, go for it.
Yeah, again, I really want to thank you for the opportunity to share. Um, I I want to speak to anyone who is listening and life has gotten hard and life is lifing, as we've been saying here lately, and life looks different than you planned it, that life will be okay and you will be okay. There are highs and lows in life. There are moments where we get knocked back a couple of steps, and there are moments where we really don't even know what the next day or the next moment, the next hour looks like. But you have you, and you have everything that you need inside of you.
Mm,
And as I'm growing and still walking this journey called life, and still praying and still seeking help and seeking understanding of who I am, what I have come to find out that life always works itself out, and sometimes we need to sit in that and be in that and live in that and breathe in that.
mm,
As we are breathing and as we are centering ourselves by whatever you need to do to center yourselves and to stop and to relax and to focus. As you're breathing, remember that you have every strength that you need. And so you have love, you have peace, you have joy, you have strength, you have hope. And if you have hope, there is more to come for you. In 2019, and I keep bringing that up because it's such a pivotal time in my personal journey with depression. I in 2019 will never forget one of my pastors and what she told me, that she used a quote that every day every day might not be a good day, but you'll have days. And if you have days, you can make it and you can live
mm,
and you can live well and do it well and be well. And so, as you are remaining true to yourself, remember that days ahead will always be okay. If you can have just one inhale, one exhale, you are a testament, you are an example, you are an image that life will be okay. Have you
mm,
ever just wondered what it means to just be still and just allow life to do what it needs to do, but allow yourself to just breathe and stop and smell the roses and be comfortable with yourself, because
mm,
everything that you have in yourself is everything that you need. So
mm.
so much. Thanks so much, Cynthia, for allowing me to share that message.
Ooh, man, you deep. You are deep. Yeah, I, I could just listen to you all day long. And I'm just not saying this just to be saying it. I'm not saying this to try to flatter you, but I'm sure that somebody that's listening can agree with me that it is so important to just be. I love what you said that your one pastor said every day might not be a good day, but you'll have days.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, just next,
Mm-hmm.
next.
Mm-hmm.
It's always a next.
It's always the next. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't get stuck. You don't get stuck in that moment. You said something earlier. Hey, big sis. That's my big sis right there. You said something earlier um, when you talked about my big sis made me lose my train of thought. I just love it so much. We were talking about days. Oh, you were saying I might be having a hallelujah time right now, but next week
Mm-hmm.
things might there she just said it one day at a time. Yeah. Next week things might look a little different. Let's
Mm-hmm.
be honest. You know, we put so much, especially in the faith-based community, we
Mm-hmm.
put so much pressure on people to always be, and we know God is
Mm-hmm.
good, he is all the time, and we know all of that, and we know, that the joy of the Lord is our strength, and we know that. But the truth be told, there are just times when we just don't meet the mark.
Yeah.
And what I've come to realize is as long as I ain't concerned about reaching your mark, but reaching his mark,
Mm-hmm.
everything is going to be all right. And I'm looking at people saying in the chat, one moment at a time.
Yeah.
And I'm going to hush because I don't want to take away from all that you just said because I want your voice in those words that you spoke just a few minutes ago
Mm-hmm.
to resonate in our listeners' mind. I want them to hear your voice and what you just said a few moments ago. And as we get ready to end, we're talking with Derrick Williams on just being and breathing.
Yeah.
And please follow Derrick on Instagram at Breathe and Embrace. And I'm telling you, you're going to get some good stuff. And like I told you in the beginning, I just love the way he articulates and his mannerism and
Thank
his
you.
intentionality, yes, in how he just lays out what he's going to say. It's like he has you salivating because it's like what you about to say. I know you're getting ready to drop something. And I tell you, I have been so blessed. I have been so
So have I. Please.
rich.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I
So have
mean,
I. Thank
yeah.
you so much.
You are welcome. No, thank you. I am so right now. I feel like I'm just being and breathing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
That's what
know,
we want.
yeah, yeah.
I
Life
love
life
it.
is good in the hood right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything is good. And again, Derek, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your yes. I know that the people have been blessed. I know they have. I know they have because I've been blessed. And I cannot wait to see you again because I will see you again. I'm making
Yes,
my rounds.
please.
I'm going to come back around. I'm going to come
Please.
back
Please.
around. And I just want you to leave us with I know you thought those were your final words before, but no, these are your final words. In these last few minutes, just drop us a few more nuggets because after you drop these nuggets, I'm just going to tell everybody, see you because I want your voice to resonate in the minds of our listeners as we move forward this evening.
Mhm. again, thank you so much, Cynthia, for inviting me. I don't think you when I said I've been blessed is I this has been a bit of a strange time um, in my family for the past month. We've hit family emergency that we've had to wrestle with, and as I was thinking about what to say as I'm wrapping up, the reason it has blessed me is because let's go back to what we said at the beginning. The reason it's blessed me is because I am my loudest voice and I need to speak to me sometimes. And I know I'm speaking to you, and I know that we are having this conversation together. But remember, you need to hear you first. You're your loudest voice. What is your spirit saying to you? My spirit told me, as I've been talking with Cynthia and all of you, my spirit told me to remind myself that it'll be okay. That all I have to do is just breathe. All I have to do is just be, and everything will work itself out. What is your spirit telling you? Maybe your spirit is telling you that there's there are surroundings that you need to remove yourself out of. What if your spirit is telling you that you should take care of your emotional and physical well-being more to create sustainability and to live? What are you speaking to yourself? How are you speaking to yourself? First, we speak well to ourselves. I am more than a conqueror. I'm powerful. I am peace. I am love. I can do this. I will make it. And then, secondly, after we have spoke well to ourselves, we then listen to ourselves. And listening comes from you intently being still and you intently breathe and you intently just be. Be still. Listen to the voices that you have inside of you, and it will tell you exactly what you need to hear. One, that you're okay. I don't know who
Mm,
needs to hear that,
mm,
but you are okay.
mm,
Two, you have it. What do you have? You might ask. What do I have, Derrick? You have you, and
mm.
everything that is inside of you is the solution. I promise you. Breathe, embrace, just be. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Mr. Derrick Williams on just being and breathing. Again, Derrick, we want to thank you so much for sharing your knowledge, your expertise, your heart, for your transparency. Thank you so much. Y'all, join us in 2 weeks. We're not going to be here on the 4th of July, but we're going to be here on the 5th of July with another great show. This is Cynthia Mobley Howell. I am your mental health advocate. This is How Well Are You, the talk show. And we are ending the stigma surrounding mental health issues one show at a time. Have a great evening. Peace.